And we are live, Big Vin.
Hey, you guys better shut up, listen up, and keep up with your boy Sylvansane, my homegirl Nay, and my homeboy Cliff. Welcome to the program. Let's get on with what's happening. All right, what's happening? There's a lot happening in the world of Tesla. Elon Musk, he's having babies in Canada. He's laying people off, and he's trying to back out of deals with Twitter. Twitter, as you know, that he tried to purchase for $44 billion. He, to make it simple, he thinks there's too many bots and that Twitter is not disclosing that amount. And Twitter, they're in this marriage. They're like, no, no, no. And they're actually pulling all the stops. They're saying that there's a stipulation where a termination, an early termination or a breach of contract, he would be penalized $1 billion. And so this is a whole mess. I don't think this is a ploy. I think it was a ploy before, or the people that thought that he was just doing this because his Twitter following got up to 100 million actually during this whole thing, and a lot of people already thought that he was an egomaniac. So the people that thought that this was a ploy, as far as the whole sale and him trying to buy it, they were right. But as far as him trying to make this as a ruse right now, I disagree. I think that he's fully out, and Twitter is scrambling because they were already going through turmoil with their office. Like everybody was freaking out because he was going to make people come to the office, and that's it. On to you.
Nay.
So it's so funny. I saw someone else talking about this and talking about the whole Twitter thing and that Elon Musk backing out was a big deal. Question, because I told you guys in the pre-show, this is a learning moment for me being a part of this podcast, and I love it. So with him being a part of Twitter, like his money going into it, is it more of the money or the name that makes Twitter pop in? Or like with him backing out, are they looking at it fully financially, or they feel like with him backing out, it's going to be like, oh man, he's not tied to it anymore, so it's not going to be, like a popular thing anymore?
Financial. They're like, yo, we need that money. You already said you're giving it. Give it up. Yeah.
So legally, I mean, those contracts are legally binding, right? Should be.
Oh yeah, he's not going to be able to get out of that without paying that fine at least. And this is going to go on for probably over a year because mergers itself, in my from what I've seen over the past, T-Mobile, Warner, Discovery is the latest one, Discovery and Warner, HBO and all that. They take years. And the government has to approve of them, of course, because of anti-monopoly laws. Well, that's actually Russia. Antitrust laws, that's what they're called over here. Yeah, I do think that. But so again, I think there's a lot of things tied to it. I think, again, when I said married, I really meant it. Like they were tethered to a bunch of things. They had a town hall with him because it was getting serious. And they were worried, and morale is down. They're whether he buys it or not, they were in trouble. They were when he told everybody they were, but we all knew that. Even when we had Twitter, sometimes they purge some of the bots out of our accounts and stuff like that. So it's not like that's a secret. And even with TikTok, I hate to burst people's bubbles. Even mine, and I have a paltry amount right now, but you never know. But definitely half of mine, if it does blow up or any of ours blows up, is going to be half bots. That's like a given. That I don't know why that's a thing, but that's a thing. And so my bad. Did that answer your question?
It did. Okay. It did.
Yeah. The only thing that could save him legally is if they weren't honest and forthcoming about their previous recognition of the volume of bots, right? Like if they said we have this amount of users and didn't properly vet how many of those users were bots, and then he got into the deal and then realized, oh shit, you guys have a much bigger bot problem than I realized, that could possibly be, he'll probably still have to pay something as a end of the marriage, penalty, as Vin said. But I don't know if it'll be the full billion that was originally agreed upon, but it might be. But I'm just saying that's the only thing that might, affect that,
Well, when you're worth, I believe, I'm probably wrong about this, but it's up there. I think he's 160 billion worth. I think he can handle $1 billion. And he even upped the offer when he was doing the bid. This all started with him being offered a board seat because he was because he's so influential and he had so much criticism for the platform that they were like, hey, you want a board seat? And he rejected the board seat. He's like, no, I'll just buy it. And so at this point, when people, again, in Russia, I don't know why I'm like talking about Russia so much, but over in Russia, they call them oligarchs. Over here, it's just rich people. It's just rich people doing rich things. And oh, God, goodness gracious. Inflation.
Yeah.
So
he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Seconds ago, that was when inflation hit. Joe Biden came by. You didn't see him. He was in the background. He just swarmed by. And he was like, "Nah, son, 237. Actually, 238."
Yeah, pretty much 238. Right. So he gives that 0.9. He'll still be okay if he gives that 0.9 up.
So I was going to say. So after he gets penalized next year, it might be more. But let's say it's $1 billion, he will be 236.9.
God damn,
that hurts.
Cry me a river, ooh, cry me a river.
That rich, like how do you get that much money?
America,
right? Tesla.
But he also owns the hottest companies out right now, like Tesla.
Right. I mean, and I get that, but that's exactly what I mean. Like what? And this is just me, entrepreneur mind, just like, how do I visualize and bring forth these companies that are going to make me this much money? Like, I can't even imagine the type of like mind power that goes into just, you know what I mean?
Right.
I like it and I don't at the same time. It sucks because, again, I believe in a mixed economy. So I definitely think there should be like a soft cap because I think 237 is ridiculous, especially when there's like starving. But I definitely don't think we all should be earning the same. But that's why it's weird when I say a cap, because I remember when I was watching Ben Shapiro one time, and I don't know why I don't like him, but sometimes I catch some gems every once in a while. Sometimes there are some truffles in
he says some real stuff. You know? He's just grossly polarized. He's
grossly polarized, and most of the time when he competes against people, they're like really young college kids. So like he thinks he's like beating up on people. Yeah. But anyway, he said something interesting about capitalism. He and he was very staunch on it. He's like very staunch with like with not capitalism itself, but like whatever. Anyway, so he said like the iPhone, for instance, we would not have the iPhone. And poor people love the iPhone. They'll go out of their minds to like go get it, blah, blah, blah. But in order to have that piece of technology, you have to have exponential growth. So what he was saying was what I'm saying, there should be no soft cap. There should be none. People like him, he has to exist in order for the ecology of things to like the circle of like capitalism life to exist. Like in order for people to get dope products or even dope things in medical advances. I remember someone told me about NASA one time. They were like, well, you wouldn't have, I forgot what they were, but like, it's not just Tang. It's not just a kick in the glass. There's so many, or Dippin' Dots. There's so many things that have come through like engineering wise through these things that we think are like superficial, but they're really not. And so I don't agree with that. But like, it did make me think. It did make me think to myself, what if we didn't have like he's about to get to 300 billion. That's for sure. That's for sure. And that's more than like 99% of the world's wealth.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think about that, actually? Do you think that these billionaires need to exist? One day they're going to be trillionaires, actually. And they need to exist so that we can have like a balance of like an economy? I guess that's what he's trying to say. Or do we need to rail these billionaires in a little bit and be like, yo, back to reality and be like Robin Hood and like disperse it to the rest of us a little bit? What do you think?
Both.
Okay.
I think we need them. Because you need ingenuity. You need people with the resources and the mental acuity to, innovate, right? But I also think that, capitalism unchecked is also a dangerous situation as well. So I think, you can't eliminate them, but I think there should be more checks and balances, at least where you can't work through all the loopholes and scheme your way to the billions, right? That's the problem,
I think that's been the American way since the beginning. There's always been like that small percentage of people at the top that have all the money, make all the choices, make all the decisions. They've got everybody in their pockets. So it's kind of like, yeah, there should be some type of check and balance, but how do we really go about that when that's been the history? Like, that's how they do shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It all goes back to nepotism being the biggest problem in this country, right? Everything else is an offshoot of nepotism, whether it's racism, whether it's classism. It all starts with nepotism and people with power and people at the top, whether it's family or friends, inserting people that they're connected with, and then the same people just continue to generate the generational money. And so yeah, it's the main reason, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when this went on, went through saying that he was canceling the deal, it's like, oh, conservatives are really having a bad time. Man, listen, there is millions of people in the United States that would never vote for a Republican that still want people to fight for free speech and still want somebody who's a free speech absolutist in power to some degree in a place like Twitter. You want somebody who's an absolutist in the seat. Maybe you don't want him controlling everything, but to have a voice like that in such a powerful platform, especially the most polarized platform of all social media, is Twitter by far. Billy, nepotism basically means it relates to family a lot, but it just, in general, it just means people in power sharing the power and putting people they know in positions of power. Over and over and over.
It is related, though. It is blood.
That's what they say, and I understand, but you got to modify definitions, because sometimes it might be a brother-in-law, sometimes it might be,
that is still family. That's still nepotism. No, you're right, but it's not. It's cousins, but it's not like, if we're close friends, that's not nepotism.
I don't know. I would argue
my definition. You know
how you said definitions change. Remember, definitions
didn't change. I mean, you could write to them. You could write to
Webster's,
Barons.
Hey, yo, Webster's, what up? I need nepotism definition. It's in.
I put the order in. Oscar, you suck as a friend right now, but I'm glad you watched the show still. Good audience.
Yeah, 100%. Like the Rothschilds, like the old money, like the Queen money, like the oil tycoons.
Yep.
Yeah, like any of those, big industries that have been, predate all of us breathing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
But no, I agree. I actually agree with both of you. I think you both hit it on the head. Now, this is probably going to divide us a little bit. Let's get to it. Red flag laws. How did we miss July 4th slip up? Actually, I don't remember. Oh, Highland Park. Yes, I was about to say. I hate to say his name. He kind of looks like a rapper on Zanny bars, but his name is Robert Crimo, the third. He doesn't even make. I'm a third. He doesn't make us look good, man. Doesn't make us look good.
I'm a third too, Vin. I'm a third too.
Oh, I forgot who you are. We did discuss that.
That's crazy.
We got that in common with this nasty soul. So red flag laws, to be brief, are if you are an imminent threat to the community, which he was deemed that in 2020 by the police. They did say he was a threat to the community, and they still issued him a firearm. They issued him quite a lot, actually. I was reading it, 80 rounds he unleashed on the Highland Park community. And so this is not even like the south side of Chicago, which is very highlighted by conservative media. I've even had conservative friends, like when there's like a shooting, most of the time they go, well, what about Chicago? Well, what about Baltimore? And I'm like, hold up, why are we always talking about that? And I've even brought statistics that cities that are red with a red mayor, red council, red state, sometimes there's red cities within a blue state. I showed him that, and they had more gun violence. Chicago's not even number one. It hasn't been number one for a long time. It hasn't even been top 5. It just, sometimes those weekends happen. It really sucks. It like plays into the media. But anyway, so red flag law, if you if you are an imminent threat to the community, a judge is allowed to put you on a list where you're not allowed to buy firearms. That could get a little tricky. I get it. I get why conservatives are a little bit against it, because, to be honest, and also, especially if this was like slave and like civil rights days, they can do that to a black person. They could have definitely did that to Fred Hampton, which is why it always makes sense when people go, that because Malcolm X said it himself, that gun regulation is racist. And to its core, it is. Because again, gun regulation was created to keep it out of black arms. And now it's meant to try to, like, for community safety, but obviously that origin still exists. So I get it. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that by avoiding this and trying to avoid this government intervention with red flag laws, do you think that's necessary?
Necessary? I don't know if I would use that word. I feel like the red flag has good intentions, but my thing is this. Just like any other thing that's illegal or we're not supposed to do or we're not supposed to come in contact with, you could say, okay, red flag him, he can't purchase guns. That don't mean he's not going to be able to get the guns. That doesn't mean he's going to not be able to get the ammo. That doesn't mean that he's still not going to have access to whatever his mission is, or anybody's mission, or what they're trying to do and accomplish. Just because y'all put my name on some list doesn't mean I can't still get what I'm trying to get when I'm trying to get it. So it's like, I understand it, and it seems like maybe a good idea to a certain extent, but would it really stop anything? Like, if, say they had done this, do we think that this wouldn't have happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think people who really believe in red flag laws believe that things would be prevented more often than not. I think it could prevent things in situations. I think it's a good idea to look at it. I think everything should be looked at and given, test runs and see what might work, what may not work. I don't think it's necessary. I think what you said, and I agree with that. I don't know if it's necessary, but I think it's one of the ideas to hopefully help in America, and to your point, just what you started with, I think it's necessary to talk about all these things, right? I don't think it's good to be a cop-out when something happens and you say, oh, well, what about, the shootings in Chicago? What about, it shouldn't be used as a cop-out, but we should be talking about all of these things. Police shootings, violence, that unfortunately is more prevalent at times in inner cities, as well as the mass shootings. And we should try to find a common ground with all ways of thinking, where one side doesn't say, oh, no, but what about this? And one side doesn't say, oh, no, what about this? Because the what about is the problem in this country right now. It's that what aboutism, as they say, they call it, So, I mean.
Well, I mean, I think I saw some things I agree in there, but I do believe in red flag laws, actually. And again, in a certain part of history, I wouldn't have been for them at all. I do think there are going to be people that are going to fall in between the cracks, unfortunately, especially women and people of color. Again, you could just, so back in, I was telling this to my grandmother, she was talking about the Kennedys and how they admitted one of their, Margaret, I believe, or one of their sisters was admitted to a mental facility for basically being a hoe. And back then they called it hysteria, and women were admitted into hospitals at an alarming rate. And and to be honest, like, it was just like laissez-faire. It was just like, yeah, my woman's crazy. But like lobotomies, shock therapy. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I get why people would be a little paranoid, because just like there's good people in government, there's bad people in there. And there's people that are just, or in bureaucracy, or even people in the community. We just saw, I forgot his name, and that's really bad, but the one that got gunned down in Georgia, and they won that case, and they got prosecuted because they because he was at like an abandoned house or something like that, and they chased him down, and they thought that
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe it. First of all, I don't believe in vigilantism. I would believe in it if we didn't have the police. That I would believe in, and then I would.
Or if it was a real crime, you might believe in it if Ahmaud Arbery was raping somebody, but not if he was hanging out in an abandoned house.
Not
you know
him,
what I mean?
Not him specifically.
Yeah.
But that's hard. That's hard, because then we would go back to like the Wild West. So I do believe that, and we're like an all-time low in crime, by the way. I know that like these mass shootings happen,
right?
But that's why I believe in red flag laws. My bad. Let's get back to the point. Australia, and I'm gonna be the typical. I know that like the other side, they go, well, what about Chicago? What about Baltimore? What about, I don't know, New York? What about, because my brother-in-law, he just said, you guys protect criminals in New York, and he lives in New York too. I'm like, you guys, like, what do you mean? You live here too. So with his per se, he was talking about a grocery worker, and somebody like stuck him up, and he was egregious about it in protecting himself. And so in New York, it's not like Florida where they have like the stand your ground laws. Over here, even criminals have rights, and I agree with that. So with red flag laws, I believe that you should protect the community. I think that we're at a point in society where we can rely on those type of laws. And I do think it does help mass shootings. In Australia and New Zealand, since 1996, they haven't had a mass shooting. And they have these similar laws. As far as the one that just happened in New York, where people have to give up their social media, not give it up, but like show their social media in order to purchase guns, I agree with that too. I'm not a forensic. I'm not in the FBI. But in my opinion, from what I've seen, every single time, maybe, and I've worked in the media, so like, I'm not going to try to make it seem like it's like some propaganda. Maybe it is, but I don't think so. Every time even this dude, they had messed up social media accounts, and the police were following it, the FBI, but nothing was done. So to me, like, these things definitely do need to happen.
I agree with that. I think my bad, Nay. I definitely agree with that. I think the social media should be monitored, especially if you if you pop for anything at all. And I believe one of the main things we need to do is put a little longer. I think a waiting list is even better than a red flag law, because I think most people, right, even if it's a week, even if it's a short, most people, right, unless you're like a psycho who's planning this shit, since you're 12 and it's really what you want to do, most people in the spur of the moment want to do something, right? And it doesn't matter what it might be: punch someone in the face, it might be yell at your husband, yell at your wife. But if you have a chance to think about it, you might rethink that decision. So if you go to the store to get a gun, you're fuming, right? Like the hospital shooting a month ago, that might have been able to be prevented if it said, oh, well, you got to wait 2 weeks. That 2 weeks might, but then it's also sketchy, because what if you're had somebody break in your house and you didn't have a gun, and then you want to go get a gun because the next day they might break in again? So it's like it's such a hard conversation, man. It really is.
I hear those people. Right. What do you guys say, Nate? Do you have anything else?
I was just gonna say, I think a lot of these laws and stuff are good for like I like to call it the water hose method, or a water hose effect. Like if you tie the water hose up, water is still going to trickle out, but it's not going to be as much. So it's like certain laws and stuff, and kind of like Cliff was saying, it'll weed out a lot of stuff, because in the moment things can be happening, and if there was something that would delay it, the course would change. But then there are those few people that are like dead set on making some shit happen, and it's going to happen regardless. So I think it's good, and that's why I was saying in the beginning, I think it's good in that sense, where it's a good idea, and it probably could stop a lot of stuff, but that can't be the sole understanding of like why shit happens. Because if they want to do it, they're going to do it. And with the social media stuff, they look at that to find the drug dealers. So why are we not being more skeptical about the crazies? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, the war on drugs has way less like positive results than the war on like gun crime across the world. When there is more gun regulation, we are like pathetic when it comes to that. Again, I do think we have it as a Second Amendment, so I would be stupid to think that like we can get rid of them, or we could like, no, I'm not for that. I don't even like gun buyback programs. I don't understand those a little bit, to be honest. Like, I get it a little bit, but it's not something I would like advocate for.
Yeah.
But again, these countries that do it, England, even Japan, where it's on the bottom line right now. That's what, what, not only like is it a big deal, by the way, our presidents have gotten shot too. You know what I'm saying? That the Secret Service, blown in the head, all that kind of stuff. Their guns didn't prevent that. So I don't even think to me, in my opinion, a gun in any of those situations, it doesn't stop the crime. It just makes like a gun shootout. It just like, and so my bad. With Japan, that was a big deal because they haven't had gun deaths in a long, like years. And I can't even imagine life like that. I can't even imagine like going through years of not hearing about someone either blowing their brains out, someone, even going into like a cupboard and going into like their dad's shelf or something like that. And he didn't guard his gun chest properly enough. Or like these situations where they're fed up with life and they're sick and we don't have enough mental health. That's another thing that that Republicans and but they also don't, which I would commend. I would be like, you're right. Mental health, like you just said before, even thinking about things would really help. but they don't do anything for mental health legislation. And I'm not saying Democrats are like, but there have been bills about mental health. And they just totally ignore it. They just go, and I would be like, oh, well, they want to come up with a better plan. No, they don't even come up with a better plan. They don't even come up with a better plan when it comes to mental health. So which one is it? Republicans and conservatives? Again, I'm not saying Democrats and liberals have the answers, but you got to come to the table. You can't just be like, don't touch my Second Amendment laws, and that's it. And even that, Alexander Hamilton, it's a living document. He wouldn't have been able to write those amendments if it wasn't a living document. So when people go, oh, the Second Amendment Constitution, you had a president that was a constitutional lawyer and you didn't respect what he thought about it.
Yeah.
Obama, by the way.
Listen.
Do you own any weapons, or like do you agree?
No, but I would. I'm not against it. I'm not against the Second Amendment. I'm really not.
I do. I've owned both. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Well, no, but to the point though, right? It kind of goes into it. You know, in New York, right? Almost half the dudes I knew had guns, and none of them were legal. So them red flag laws weren't gonna do shit for them. You know what I mean? Like I've had illegal guns as well as legal guns. You know what I mean? And in inner cities, a good amount of the gun deaths are not legally purchased firearms. So there needs to be more. There needs to be like a multi-thonged approach. You know, pronged, not thonged. That's we're back to LGBT. Hold on. A multi-pronged approach to the to it. You know what I mean? Like we have to like try to figure out ways to, because that's the thing, right? We can prevent all the mass shootings we want, but we also have to address those gun violence deaths too, and suicide deaths, right? Which a lot of people don't talk about. Suicides are a large chunk of gun deaths as well. So
and even accidental deaths by gun violence.
And I don't think we can ever stop those. Just like you can't stop car accidents, and that's another one. That's a very popular analyzation and comparison. You're never going to stop auto accidents, but when we did institute the seatbelt, it got rid of it by over 60%, 70%. So again, like you said before, Janae, yes, things are going to fall through the crack. Nothing's going to be perfect, but we got to try something because it's ridiculous. It's almost becoming daily. Like that's where it's becoming. And we're not Syria. We're not Iraq. And no offense to those countries. We're not Venezuela. We're not in a guerrilla warfare like Colombia. This makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. And I get what you're saying, Cliff, and maybe I'm wrong, and I don't know your friends like that, but you're a criminal you're not a criminal until you are. And so with the people that we're talking about, the mass shootings, most of them were not criminals yet. They had very sketchy past. They had like a lot of toxic things they were going through. A lot of that hopefully could have been addressed by a mental health professional or even time or even like another person to, but who knows? I don't know any of these people. But when it comes to the people you're talking about, the people that own guns, I will even advocate for them. That doesn't mean that they're irresponsible. I actually have people, and I don't want to stitch on them. I actually have people that own guns around here, illegal. Oh, I'm sorry. Does that count? Do they own it if it's illegal? Yeah, I guess so. They have guns, and I've been in their crib, but like I'm not like really too scared. Like I'd rather they didn't, but like it's like whatever.
Right.
So to me, that's a responsible gun owner too. That like I feel safe enough where I'm not like I want to move.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I'm saying? So I consider them. So when people bunch up them too, I'm like, that's kind of not you, but like, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm like, cool. You got the burner, you got the biscuit, do your thing. But as far as like the things like the red flag laws and the social media, I think that prevents that. I think that prevents that a lot.
Helps to prevent. Yeah. Helps to
prevent. Gun violence. No, that'll never end. There's 3 guns for each person. And most of us don't have guns. Most of us don't have guns. And so there's more guns than there are people in this country. So that's virtually impossible. You're never going to get rid of gun deaths. I think we can get rid of mass shootings though. I think we can.
So real quick, being that, we really only have two more things to hit, right? I wanted to just real quick, what's your overall opinion on the Bodega shooting? So you don't think he was justified in shooting the dude that was trying to rob the store?
No. So I hate to drag.
So what if his life was at risk? You don't think that man has a right?
It depends. Again, I don't know all the details of this case, and I love when people say that. People usually say that when it's a cop involved with an unarmed person. So I'm gonna hit off with that same thing. I don't know all the details of this, but in New York, there are laws like this for a reason, because
Well,
again,
wait. I would just say I think smart people say that about anything, because you shouldn't comment on anything if you don't know the details.
I agree. But I'm just saying, I don't have that. But I don't have that. I admitted that I don't have that much information on this. That's why we didn't put it on the show run. But all good. I'm down to address it.
Look what we got here on video.
As ignorant as homie. Okay, great. He felt like he was threatened. All that good stuff. Great. I don't think he's a monster. I definitely think he was defending himself. I think this could happen to any one of us. Trayvon Martin. I don't think criminals have to die. I really don't. I think when, like, if you...
Well, Trayvon Martin wasn't doing anything wrong. This guy was physically attacking a bodega worker and he stabbed him to death.
You ask. I don't agree. I agree with you. I don't think Trayvon Martin was doing anything wrong. But depending, if you ask another person, or if you even ask, like, even another lawyer, they'll be like, well, George Zimmerman, he said that he was knocking his head into the ground. He said that, there was a physical altercation. That one we can't dispute. Even though I think that George Zimmerman got away with that part, which really hurt, by the way, like, there was no dispute on that. There was a physical altercation. So you can't tell, like, it's hard to tell in any state, Florida or New York, who feels physically threatened. So that's why it's really hard. That's why I agree with New York laws more than Florida, because it's hard either way. It's hard either way to determine, but there are ways to subdue people. And again, I'm not in that situation. I can't speak for that person. I can't speak for either one, but I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to kill a criminal either. So to me, like, I'm not, like, if I'm in that situation, and again, I'm not in that situation, so I'm only speaking from, like, just my experience. Again, this sounds really ignorant. I'm admitting that. I've never been in this, but if I'm in those situations because of the nature of who I am, and that could change. I could be like, go Buck. I could go like freaking Bad Boys 2 up in there. But getting from here right now, I would rather even the criminal, keep him alive. Like, stay right there. Like, the cops are coming, blah, blah, blah. But that could be stupid. You never know. Like, the person could have something. But in my opinion, I'd rather do that, because I just don't got it in me to do that. To take someone's life. They're robbing them. And that stuff could be replaced, especially over things that can be replaced. A lot of people are very comfortable with taking someone's life for material stuff. And to me, even though I love capitalism, that's one of the downfalls of capitalism. People will just rob you for Jordans, kill you for Jordans, and it makes no sense. What do
you think about this particular one day? Store getting robbed, physical altercation. My man grabs the butcher knife and arguably, possibly saves his own life. So
I'm gonna air on both sides, and that's probably a contradiction, but what the fuck ever. So like if I was in a store owner and someone came in there and tried to rob it, take this shit, because it can be replaced. Like, I'm not gonna risk my life for these things in the store, you know what I mean? And even like people, like, whatever. So yeah, like in that situation, do I think he was wrong? No, because he was defending himself. But if I were in that position, I probably would have just get what you getting and get the hell out. But as being someone that has been robbed before, like for my personal self, like someone run up on me and take my shit, it was a man, and I am me. And if I had a gun, I would have shot the shit out of him, because I could not defend myself against him. This is my personal belongings, and you're taking it from me. You tried to cause bodily harm. You roughed me up. You did these things. So if I was able to defend myself, I most definitely would have done that. So I think for me, it depends. If I'm in a situation where it's not my shit, or even if it is, I'm in a store or something and someone comes and they're a threatening person, I'm going to give them. And I wouldn't pull my gun. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that, call the police or whatever the case may be. If someone physically attacks me personally, tries to steal my car, tries to take my shit, like, after that situation happened, I bought a gun, because I'm just like, I live in Florida and people, I don't know. And I don't even live in a bad neighborhood. This actually happened when I was in college, and, college kids were always the target. And
people would come out of town. People go OT. They call it going OT to rob people like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like everyone knows, financial aid. Like, it's like the people knew when college kids were gonna have money it's tax season, it's financial aid time, and like people are really being like reckless. So I think in a sense of protection and self-defense, that line and that water is always very.
And we got an Amiri shirt. That's expensive.
Right.
Robbing people. What?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, as usual, being who I am, I kind of agree with both of you. You know what I mean? I think if you try to avoid it, you know, if you can avoid
middle pain. That's why you're in the middle pain.
Right. If you can avoid it, try to avoid it. But if your life is at risk and it's me or you, I'm gonna try to make it you. You know what I mean? You know,
right?
That's why I try to leave that option. That's why I'm like, well,
yeah,
Vince, you were never. Yeah, you're right. So like, come back to me later when that happens. Like,
right.
come back to me later when you're right, Janae. Like, if I'm ever in a situation similar to you, I've lived in a former crack era neighborhood. So like, and things definitely they still happen. So like,
you've never been mugged or like robbed?
I've never been mugged. I've never been jumped ever in my life. Like ever.
Nice.
Oh wow, I got jumped about 12 times. I've been, but mostly, actually though, but this is why I always tell people.
Knock on wood. I probably our audience members like, Vince gotta get turned up right now. I gotta tune him up.
Right.
I had an ex-girlfriend. I told her I never blacked out before, and I've been in a fraternity. I was like, I was in it. Like I was social, all that kind of stuff. And we got drunk all the time. And I told them, I was like, I never got blackout. She was like on a mission to make me black out. I'm like, why do people do that?
Yo, I'm gonna call the goons. I'm be like, yo, don't rough him up too bad, but Vin needs one jumping just so he understands.
Yeah.
Right?
So by episode 3 or 4,
he'll Joe Work.
Tell a new story.
You heard Vin? I'm gonna call Joe Work. I'll be like, listen, I know you love Vin, so just like don't hurt him bad, but he just needs to know what it feels like. You know.
Joe, if you're watching this, Utah made you soft, so I got you now. Let's go. Let's do this.
I only got robbed once. I got robbed once.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, and I got my money back though, like 25 minutes later. Like these 3 dudes got me into the hallway.
Good robbery story.
Yeah, pulled a little bullshit knife on me.
Stories like that. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, they took I only had like $15 on me. I'm like, yo, y'all are robbing me. I got 15. They thought I was in cahoots with the neighbor upstairs who stole the dude's social, right?
Yeah.
So it was like a personal thing. They took my little $15 or whatever, and then like 20 minutes later, I walked outside and it was only the smallest one outside at that point, right? The other 2 were more brolic, you know what I mean? But either way, I was going to say this. I walked out and I was like, yo, listen, I'm like, not for nothing. I'm like, you guys are robbing someone who really don't got shit right now. I was young. I was still more of a mess then. I was like, you guys are taking $15 from someone who really don't got it. I got a newborn baby in there. Come on, bro. And dude was like, you know what? He's like, you're right, bro.
You had to lather on the guilt. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
He gave me the money back. I gave him $1,000. Yeah.
You know what, Cliff?
Yeah.
I don't know you like
swear
that,
to God. I swear to God.
But I gotta tax you though. I gotta take $2 back. Though.
Yeah.
That's what I would have did. I would have been like, "This is America, though."
Yeah. Capitalism, motherfucker. You know what I mean? But yeah. All
right. Back to let's get to the next one because we have 2 more. So sorry. R.I.P. to Jayland Walker. Another situation, unarmed black male. Ooh. So we know about the whole police, George Floyd. We don't have to get into all the other ones. Tamir Rice. We were just talking about Trayvon Martin. It's very sad that it's still happening. And so I had a similar situation in my neighborhood. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and Sean Bell. We have an avenue named after him. And it's not like completely similar, but it's like what I thought of when I first saw this. Especially with the 60 shots. Diallo was the first thing that came to mind.
Diallo,
right. I got that. I understood either one. I mean, we shouldn't even have these references, to be honest. Right. We reference them and we have names for them. That's how sick this country is. In other countries, and I haven't been everywhere. I'm not like Mr. Epcot Center, but they can't. What, Charlie Hebdo? Like that's the one in France. That's the last time I heard of a shooting. Like since that was the one with the cartoon of Muhammad. And they got upset over that. And I don't believe in that, by the way. I don't think that like anybody should die for anything, to be honest. Like I would die for my family members. I wouldn't die for a stapler. I wouldn't die for the cell phone. Sorry, Steve Jobs. No. Or even George. I'm a hype beast, baby. Like I love clothes. I love all that stuff. I would not die for those things. Anyway, so Sean Bell, he was at a bachelor party, and when he got out, he ran from the police. They were trying to question him and even running from the police. That's why there's these laws too, because when you get shot in the back, like it's in New York, it's easier to prosecute someone when they do that to you, because again, like in Florida, stand your ground law, you can just shoot them for anything. Like, and you could, there's really no way to argue it. Like the law is so strict. So anyway, back to Jayland Walker. He fled, but he was unarmed. And to be honest, I don't think that's a good excuse. I know a lot of people are staunch with the police, the thin blue line, and blue lives matter, which I don't think makes sense unless you're a Smurf. I don't think it's a good. What kind of police training? What kind of police training do you have where that like if someone, again, I'm not in that situation. That's another instance where I'm not. Come on, Vince, you should do a ride around with me and see what cops do. No, okay, great. I get you. I should be in your shoes, but put yourselves in Jayland Walker's shoes too. The guy was scared. Like what does he see? What does he see? It's not even just from the media. What does he see? He sees his family members, his friends, community members. And I'm not saying every Black person in America has experienced this, because what's his name? Lil Wayne says he's never experienced racism. And I'm going to have to take him for his word for that. But from what we mostly see as Black Americans, the police are not our friends. And I remember when Bill de Blasio got flack from the whole police. And people that were big fans, which again, like, I don't even see that. Are there like cheerleaders for teachers or something like that? Or when did that happen? Like, you gotta like wear flag. Is there a teacher flag, by the way? Is there a social worker flag? Like, I don't understand. When did people start rooting for occupations? But anyway, he just fled and they just shot him. And they shot him 60 times as if he was like Swiss cheese. This is a human being. And so back to even your point before too, Janae, not to judge you, by the way, and whatever firearm you possess. But me, even, again, this is still a little bit ignorant because I'm not in that situation. I would not shoot to kill. Even if the person was coming after me, I would not shoot to kill. And in the same breath, no, I get it. I get why you guys would. I just wouldn't. Like, life is too precious. I believe people.
I wouldn't try to kill him. I wouldn't shoot to kill.
I wasn't even saying you weren't. My bad if I.
No, and I'm just saying, just in case anybody misunderstood what I was saying. When I say I'll shoot the shit out of him, just meaning I would have shot him. Like, get the fuck off. You're a man. I'm a woman. I can't.
And I might get into law one day. So that, or I would be on a jury. We're still qualified to be jury. I think we are, because like I think if you're a felon, you're not allowed to. But like, so with him or anybody unarmed, so my bad. In the same instance with the police, I believe the same thing. I'm not in police training. I actually have not. That's another thing they don't really make transparent. Police training. What are they training these people? Are they like? Because it really does seem like they're training to shoot to kill. It really does seem that way at this point. Like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, unfortunately, military and police, the thing is, the shooting shouldn't happen so hair triggerly, but they do train to shoot for center mass. That's the problem. You're not trained to shoot for legs and arms and shoulders. You're trained to shoot center mass. Unfortunately, center mass.
That's very unfortunate. And to be honest,
so one of my closest friends is a police officer, and we've had this dialogue all the time. And I asked her, like, what is the training like? What do they tell you guys to do? And she basically was like, like Cliff said, they're not telling you aim for the leg, aim for the foot, aim for the hand. Like, it is shoot to what is the word shoot? Basically, like, make the
incapacitate.
Like make the threat go away. Make sure that this person does not have the ability to harm me or anybody in the vicinity. Like, take them down. Now, some people can try in certain situations to aim for the leg or the foot or whatever, but that is not how they're trained. So if you have a cop that really don't give a fuck, they're not going to try and shoot for the leg or the foot. They're just going to fucking shoot. And they're justified in that because that's what they're told to do as law enforcement, to get rid of the threat. But I just feel like they only get rid of the threat with Black and brown people. Like, this is a conversation that honestly I'm tired of having, and I know that I'm going to have to continue to have it because it has to be talked about. We have to continue to have the dialogue because it's something that is going to continue to happen. And I just don't understand, like, in this day and time, why this is still such a thing for people to clearly see that there is a difference. And I can't remember who said it, but I'll remember the comment for the rest of my life. we're not asking you to shoot us like you shoot them. We're asking you not to shoot us at all. Like, let us live. Every other person that commits a crime, doesn't commit a crime, they're apprehended and taken into custody. We don't even get to the point of black people.
Roof was brought to a Burger King before he was brought into custody.
We don't even know what happened, why it happened, who did it, who didn't, and they're dead. You have some that are guilty, some that are not. You have some that were, criminals and some that were not, which I don't even know why the fuck that comes into the conversation, because what does this person having a record have to do with the fact that you
Because there's a big patch of America that believes criminals are not people. Once you commit a crime, once you're in the system, which makes sense because in the very Constitution, criminals are considered not people. They're not. They have no rights. They're not in the Constitution. They have zero rights. So it made sense because that's when they were making blacks a quarter people. So they were like, not only. So now let's have two stipulations, so that like if they did get free, we can make them into criminals and put them into and still cotton camps were the same thing as criminal camps. They both did the same thing. They either were doing railroads or other type of factory work. But that it's designed. When people say this is the most racist country in the world, they're not lying. It doesn't mean it's the worst country.
But it's also the most diverse country in the world, which leads to the racism also. That's a factor that has to be considered. There's no other country in the world that has a mix of cultures like
being
America.
in control for too long.
That's true too.
Europe is the smallest continent compared to all these other minority continents, but yet it was the one that was able to free flow immigrants more than anybody in history. I was just listening to Howard Zinn's book on audiobook, and I'm a nerd like that. I listen to history books.
Do you mean the UK? You mean the UK specifically, right? Not Europe, because Europe's pretty big. You mean the UK?
It's not as big as Africa. It's not as big as name another country. You have, for some reason, Europe has way more. Not some reason. It's not some reason. It's many reasons that we can't we don't have enough time to go into. But Europe had full range to just put whatever type of their throughout the whole European Union, no matter if it was Ireland, Italy, didn't matter. Even the USSR, even with the Soviet Union, there was almost no checks on that. But when it came to Africa, when it came to Saudi Arabia, when it came to parts of Latin America, when it came to the internment camps in Japan and stuff like that, that's because Europeans were just ruling shit for way.
They took the power grab. Europeans got the biggest power grab, unfortunately.
Yes, they were able to. That's why this country looks like that. That's why you had people like Tucker Carlson able to say, "Don't you want to have an American-looking person?" And through that, I had a friend repeat it, go like this, Vince, and I was like, "Josh, I've seen that episode, by the way. What do you mean an American?
Yeah, what's an American-looking person?"
That's what I asked.
What I see on the screen right now is American-looking people, and that's why I love
Jayland,
America.
you too, Jayland, rest in peace. You too, bro.
Of course. And speaking to this point, first of all, okay, who you are. There's no denying.
Thank you, Oscar, again. My bad that I threw some shade. I love you, bro.
It's always love, bro. It's undeniable, right? The difference in violent crimes towards unarmed minorities, right? It's also undeniable that a whole lot of white people get killed by cops as well. In bulk numbers, it's more whites, but in percentage, it's more minorities by far. But in bulk, it's not even close. You can look that up. It's verifiable. It takes 5 seconds. More white people are killed yearly by cops than any other group, but that's because there's more white people. So that's why you have
great. Yeah,
that's why you have to go. That's why you have to go to per capita. The truth is always in percentage and per capita, right? So the policing issue in America is not only a minority issue, and that's what the conservatives need to get through their fucking head, right? Pardon the cursing. I know we're trying not to, but I can't help it. You know what I mean? But that's what people who are staunch conservatives need to get through their head. We have a policing problem in general, and it just affects minorities more disproportionately. You would be very hard pressed to find another situation where a white person got shot 60 times and killed that was unarmed. Amadou Diallo, 47, had bullets in the bottom of his shoe, right? So all things can be true at the same time, right? It can be true that we have a policing issue in general, And I think that is something minorities need to understand more too, so they could get into the conversation more honestly on their end and not only think it's a minority issue. And then people on the more conservative side, that thin blue line bullshit, need to understand that it's an issue in general. And that does not only affect, I got whooped by cops growing up many times. I grew up in the Giuliani era. I had cops hit me with nightsticks, walkie-talkies, blah, blah, blah.
But that's one of the reasons why I'm not afraid of my community. That cops have done that to me, actually. I've gotten, not beat up, but like I have had more of my altercations through cops than I had through regular people. Go ahead, my bad.
Right. And that's the other part of it too, right? That's why I think all of this is all encompassing, right? Whether it's mass shootings, police shootings, or, inner city shootings, right? I think all three things need to come to the table together rather than us keeping on separating them, right? Because I know a lot more people who got killed in the inner city. I don't know anybody who got killed by a cop, right? But I know about 9, 10 friends close that were killed in gun violence. So the main thing that needs to happen here is people need to try to get out of their bubble of information and understand that we have a policing issue in general, and also understand that it affects minorities disproportionately. Both things are true, and maybe one day, maybe keep up, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll get that Elon Musk money one day, you know what I mean? And we'll change the world, or maybe not. And we'll have 4 viewers, but either way, I love it. You know what I mean?
Unless Nay has anything to top this off.
Right.
Unfortunately, and it's going to sound really jaded and morbid. I doubt this is going to be the last time we're talking about this. So,
man. It's not.
And I wish it was
so egregious, bro.
Yeah, if it was, you heard it here first. Wow, Vince, this is the last one,
bro. I avoided this video because I hate watching shit like this.
Me too. I don't like watching.
I was like, I don't want to watch it. I don't like watching. I'm not one of the, there's a lot of white people that love that shit. Like they like seeing people get.
I don't like analyzing it either.
You know,
we bring it up because we're a trending show. Thank you, audience.
Right.
And I hope
had
you
no choice
because everybody had great opinions and everybody said it very eloquently and articulate. But this is sad.
Couldn't believe it.
Nobody really.
I watched this one. I could not believe how egregious this one was. Even knowing that it happens, this is the most egregious one that's ever been on tape. It might not be the most egregious one ever, bro. They were shooting this man when he was on the ground, bro.
But even though, so this is like a bigger topic, but this country loves violence. It loves violence. Doesn't matter who it's affecting. Doesn't matter who is being eliminated.
Right.
So I put up a TikTok recently, and it had nipple tassels on it, and it got taken down immediately. And they don't put like a little COVID disclaimer. They don't go, oh, this might be misinformation or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I had plenty of that on my Spotify.
Yeah, this might be titties, right? They could have put this might be titties.
I like that. See, I like that. That would have been great. But that's how much. And to be honest, that's a vehicle to women. I know I'm going like crazy right now, but that's why sex is able to inhibit minority communities more than violence can. And violence is able to eliminate people way quicker than sex can ever. So and this country feeds on that. So my point is, you and I'm not saying that you don't like violence. I'm pretty sure you watch some Arnold Schwarzenegger movie or something, or John Cena. Yeah, we all love a little bit of that's in our grade. That is really part of being America. We're obsessed with it. We're obsessed with it to a point where I remember, and it finally started being calling snuff again, where people were watching beheadings from the Middle East. People were watching rapes and stuff, and that used to be on 4chan and Reddit. And again, we were talking about the R. Kelly video. Well, that was sex. My bad. My bad. Bad example. But people. So back to this. People are sick. They will watch these things. Even if it has to do with their politics or their ideologies, or even just on their random spare time. Let me watch someone get shot 60 times, and they really will put that on repeat. And again, on TikTok, that has no it does have a disclaimer. My bad. It has a disclaimer, but they won't make you get rid of it.
No, that they would take off. That they would, bro. They took off my Mike Tyson. I did commentary on the Mike Tyson video where he he beat up the dude on the plane.
They don't like violence like that.
Yeah, bro. I did commentary on that, and it was mostly me talking. and they
and he
still
was
took it
actually
down.
throwing the punches down.
Yeah, and it was doing good. I had like 10,000 views in the first like few hours. I'm like, here we go.
So
And then I'm like,
the Giuliani video that would have got taken down too. No, I'm joking. I'm not sorry.
Giuliani, yeah. That was extreme violence. Listen, as a pretend staunch conservative, that was extreme violence, and it must be stopped. It is it's a bigger problem than police shootings. Rudy Giuliani's back still hasn't recovered. Do you know that? Do you know that, Vin? Enough
Bengay.
is enough.
Get some Bengay, bro. Stop breaking your cousin's back. How about that?
Yeah.
He still hasn't recovered. Anyway, I know this is at the perfect segment or segue to the feminists out there. Apologies. But that's why we're going to have a scapegoat, and Janae is going to lead this.
Please, but before I jump into it, just play this video by my good sis.
Hold on, I'm playing it fast. It looks funny. Look how funny it looks fast. Hold on.
When do I get a chance to vote for her? When is she on the ballot and when is she on the ticket? I'm with it.
I love it.
Go, Tiara Mack.
Yo, she got a great body. I would twerk too. Like, if I had a body like that, why not? Go ahead. My bad. I'm like all over Janae.
So this video first came to my understanding in my group chat with my girlfriends from college. Shout out to the clubhouse. And it was more so of a, well, look at this senator that is out here living her best life. We have to think about the timing that we're in. And I get it because I've heard so many people, and I've been reading like comments and kind of talking to people about this. And they're just kind of like, she's a senator, so you have to live your life in a different light because you have more eyes on you. You're on a different platform. And it's just kind of like I was saying last week when we were talking, we have like certain individuals that are on like this pedestal of how they're supposed to act because they're not normal people. And I think that's unfair because they're fucking just people. Like, she's a 28-year-old, educated, professional woman. Like, she is a senator. And I also found it funny that people were so like, oh, nobody's going to vote for you. Well, she's already in office. She's looking to be reelected. That's what this is all about. It's not like she's trying to get there. They're saying like, oh, you expect people to take you seriously when you're doing this. These politicians do all kind of other bogus clown shit that's way worse than twerking on a handstand, and they're respected. Is it because she's a woman? Is it because she's shaking her butt? Like, at the end of the day, we as women are held to a different standard anyway. And then on top of that, she is supposed to be seen in a different light because she's a senator. But I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. My mom's like, oh, you're such a millennial. But it's like, yeah, I am.
You first, Cliff.
Get mom on the show. I agree with Mama Bear. And I agree with Mama Bear. Tell Mama Bear that she got a fan. This is
not an only fan.
Yeah, not an only fan. I mean, and listen, as long as she's not a senator, if she has one, let me know. I'll shoot it out there. No.
His production value has no limits. He does do OnlyFans productions. Yeah. Guys. If you want to hit up Cliff, he will help you with your OnlyFans video. Just like
Yep. Especially Mama Bear.
So is it because she's a senator you feel like this is inappropriate?
I feel like, right, and one thing that you'll see about me, I'm very consistent. Anything I see that I find to be morally business, any violence, anything that's incorrect or off to me, I call it out. I've been calling out politicians before people even were doing that. I was in the 90s talking about Israel and Palestine before people even knew what the hell was going on there. You know what I mean? I'm like an old school, like what people used to like, they call social justice warriors now. That was me back in the day. And now I've kind of like came more towards like a middle ground where I realized that if you're too much like that, you can be blinded by ideology. But that's always been the type of dude I am. But anyway, the thing with her is I have daughters. It all roots back. I have daughters, and women should be held to a higher standard, in my opinion. Women birth children. Women are the queens of the earth, and women should be held to a higher standard. And that's my opinion. And I believe that if you have a senator that's twerking, it helps to further what we already have a problem with over sexualization of little girls, with TikTok dances, with little girls not even wearing bras on TikTok dancing and twerking, and all the shit that is, to me, destroying society. And I'm not saying she's responsible and this is so egregious, right? But it's just, it goes in the same vein for me. You know, you should be at a higher standard, because you're a woman. But if it was a dude senator doing a dick twerk, I'd say the same thing, right? If there was some male senator in gray sweatpants talking about, I would also call it out, right? Because I believe that women should be a higher standard. I believe politicians should at least have a statesman like air to them, even if it's not real to a degree, because I believe that office is continually being less regarded because of how politicians behave. Trump, her doing this, anything along those lines that degrade the statesman like veil that politicians should have over them in order to respect them. I feel like this leads to less respect.
To me, in my belief that you could separate the person from their career or whatever they got going on. Like, she's on vacation, she's having fun. Now, I personally probably wouldn't have put this on my business or professional account. It would have been something that I did like on my, I have two different ones. Right. And, you know, I run my personal account very different than I do my business account. But like, right. I love to twerk. I'm dancing all the time. I'm a dancer. So it's just kind of like, me being a dancer does not take away from the fact that I'm an awesome therapist, that I'm an amazing author, that I'm an auntie. So I definitely get it. And over sexualization and all those things. I have nieces, but my thing is that kind of goes back to parenting and like our understanding of what we do and do not allow our children to do. Her twerking and shaking ass on her TikTok as a grown adult woman has nothing to do with her ability to be a senator or get things done or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I just see things very differently. Like, her as a professional has nothing to do with her as hanging out with her friends. That's why I say her putting it on her official page was like, okay, but still, I don't know. I'm here for it. I just feel like people hold us to these different standards, and like, I just can't get with that. I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you. That's what makes this country beautiful, is that we all have the right to express opinions. You know, someone might think my opinion's stupid. Someone might think your opinion's stupid. You know, that's the beauty of it. You know,
we all have the right to mansplain our daughters and our senators. So I disagree wholeheartedly, Cliff. I love you, bro. No, there should be that. And on top of that, we were just talking about, like, you know, a certain group of people ruling this country, including the White House. So the White House was built twice by Black people, and it only took Obama, 44 presidents to have that happen. So that standard is not everybody's standard, Cliff. And not to say that it's white people. It is actually white president standards, not white people standards, but it's white president standards, particularly white men. And so, like, of course they're going to be against that.
But white men are the ones that have sexualized women since the beginning.
You're right on the side, but like, conservatives and Republicans are notorious for making laws that go against their things that they do on the side on their vices. So like, I'm not shocked by that, and I'm not shocked, but not to say it's you, but I'm not shocked that there's like senators or people on their high horse. Again, I'm not saying this is you. I genuinely think this is your opinion. But there's some people that
Vin always does that. Vin always does that. I noticed that's Vin's thing.
I'm like impassioned, and so people think
I'm not saying this is you, but some.
I know, but like, oh no, my bad. There's no veil. But people automatically, I always say that because people think I'm attacking them. They're like, I'm like, no, not you. I'm like pretend there's like a hypothetical person I'm yelling at.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, so those people made those rules and those like sophistication. Women just started getting into politics. They're only at like 40%, first of all. So like, you're gonna see all types of stuff, especially even Obama, Bill Clinton and him were like the first people to admit smoking pot. I'm pretty sure at least 30 of those freaking presidents did. So like, it's just all the guys. Do I want the president like tweeting at 3 a.m. freaking like trying to fire people and like talking about that? No. And I'd also rather my presidents don't rape people. I also wish that they didn't participate in like all types of like moralistic behaviors and twerking. Oh, so back to, and I'm not going to name his name because this is really bad, but I remember on his Snapchat,
Call him out, son. Call him out, son.
He got mad. You saw in the DM. He got really mad.
That dude?
Yeah, he got mad. He got big mad. But that's what I'm not saying like get rid of your beliefs, but if they're that toxic where you don't want other people to see it, like it's private, you got to rethink some things, in my opinion. But anyway, he was on Snapchat, and people all the time ask me why I'm still friends with him, and I question that daily sometimes.
No, you need that though. Don't listen to those people because if we only had
bad, Cliff.
But if we only
you didn't hear what he said.
I'm gonna let you finish. All right, I'm gonna let you finish.
So the Obamas were on their way out, and it was the farewell thing. It was like where they had that whole like jubilee, and they do it for everybody. They did it for Trump's. So he had on Snapchat, and he goes, and he was excited because he hates Obama. He's like very, very conservative. You can't tell him that. He says he's moderate because he believes in abortion. I'm like, and gay rights. I'm like, that doesn't make you a moderate. Like,
I've seen his inbox. He is.
I know, and you've seen his page. He's a fan of the page, so you go on his page. Yeah. Anyway, so he's not a moderate in any stretch of the imagination. So he goes. So this is back to twerking. He goes. I can't. Okay, so I'm not gonna say his name, but this literally happened, and he's mad because I screen recorded it too. I was that upset. I was like, yo, what the? He said, I can't wait for this monkey guy to get out of office. His tramp daughter should go twerk somewhere. And I forgot there was other vicious things. I actually deleted him that day. After I recorded it, I deleted him that day. We had a whole falling out from that. And it's been years since that happened, obviously, because I forget, when was that? That was like 2016 or something like that. So it's been a while, but his name is not Josh. Okay. That's crazy. Thanks, Cliff. Damn. Anyway, he did do that. And sometimes when we get in discussions and he goes, well, I'm not racist. And I'm like, okay, you get really offended when I call you racist. But that was racist. Like that was like textbook racism, bro.
Oh, that was.
Yeah. And like he'll pretend that didn't happen. He'll pretend like he didn't say that. Like if I bring that up sometimes, like I go, well, the reason why like I'll call you racist for this instance, you're the same guy that did that. And he'll be like, and he'll just totally pretend you didn't say it. He'll just totally pretend you didn't.
Whereas if he would have admitted that he said it and said, listen, I was worked up. I shouldn't have said it. Right. I fucked up.
How worked up you are.
No. This is the thing. You can have a path to redemption if you can admit what you did wrong. But if you can't admit what you did wrong, you're going to be labeled that no matter what you say, that's in that direction.
In most circles, I would not mind him being canceled. Mine, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. I must be a toxic person myself. But like,
you love debate, bro. You are a debate. You're a debate.
Yeah, I guess I'm that sick where like I need that kind of adversarial in my life or that kind of contrarian because that's wrong. Let's be honest, wrong. Like that should not be allowed. Like I don't think that like he should be killed. I don't think his life, but like I don't think he should be living a great life if he has those type of thoughts in his head. And I don't. It's, but again, I live in the most racist country in the world, so I have to accept that. So when people go, and so sometimes, and I have a crazy personality, so sometimes I have to accept like racist people in my life, unfortunately. And I have racist family members. I have people that like try to blanket their racism with like different euphemisms and make America great again and all that kind of stuff. So my point is, back to the point, the White House, or even like the standards of being a president or a senator or a congressman, we have not had an example of different cultures being in there or different genders and stuff like that. And just being a woman, like even with them a lot, like whatever. She went to Harvard.
But twerking ain't a culture.
But why not? It's dancing.
No.
Why not? No. Why not? Why? Because strippers got popular.
Is that really what you want to do though? Do you?
Why not?
Hold on. Do you personally want to attach because she's a black woman twerking to being a culture of black women?
Yeah. Why is that a problem?
I don't think you want to do that.
If that's
I don't think you want to do that. I don't think most black women would want to say black woman culture is twerking. I don't think you want to do that.
It is a part of black culture, though.
Beyonce, what are you talking about?
Like, you gotta think back to a lot of the dance and movements of like gyrating. Like it is deeply embedded in African culture, and it was something that they continued to do when they were forced over here. It's evolved over time, but even if you look at like videos of like tribal dances and stuff, the little babies are like, we call it twerking.
Break dancers. What are you talking about?
I know a lot of black people personally that would reject that thought process
because it is seen as a negative in this.
No, I'm not talking about black conservatives, bro. I'm not talking about black conservatives.
There's a liberal person that says, I want. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Janae. Sorry.
It's seen as a negative thing in this society. So when you say like, oh, like right now, she's dancing and having a good time and oh, she's twerking, but it's like, okay, she's twerking. Like that's the name that we've given it when really it's she's dancing. She's having a good time. She is self-expression, but it's seen as twerking and it's been given such a negative name that if you say that, some people do look at it like, oh, I don't, that's not, you know, but I mean, really it is.
Other than embarrass you, Cliff, what are the negative effects?
The negative effects on
other than embarrassing you, other than like you like not wanting
embarrassing me?
Yeah, other than that, what's the negative effects of your daughter's twerking?
Are you fucking joking, bro?
I'm not.
Maybe once you have kids, you'll understand. You don't want your kid shaking.
I knew you were going to go there, but like, I'm.
You don't want your female child. No father wants their female child.
There's
shaking
plenty of them
ass.
that are fine with it.
No.
I've talked to many fathers; they're fine with it.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Those are not regular. Bro, talk to Joe Word.
Regular dads. What's a regular dad?
Talk to Joe Word. Talk to other dudes you know that I know and say, do you want your daughter twerking? They're not going to go, of course. What do you mean? Go shake your ass, little.
Those are people you know. That's a very small part of America. The people you know are in a very small part of America. That's not.
Vin.
Okay,
I
so you go to another country.
100 fathers today, and none of them are going to say, I want my daughter twerking.
And I guarantee you're wrong.
No, you're not. No, Vin.
You're relying on your personal experience. And you're like,
I'm relying on my personal experience of being a father for 20 years and knowing
and
hundreds of fathers.
And that doesn't mean anything. Like I have to be a father in order to be like, I don't. Obama's a freaking and he allowed it on his Snapchat. He's a father and he was fine with it. And his daughter's still going to Harvard.
Okay, Vin, I promise you, fathers' goals are not their children twerking on TikTok.
Okay, great. So you have a better moral compass than the president of the United States. Back to you saying that they have like more of a higher standard.
I guess so. If that's how you want to frame it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you have a higher standard than the actual office itself. Okay, great.
If that's how you want to frame it, then I'll roll with you on it.
Okay.
You know
all right, guys. We can definitely agree to disagree.
Disagree.
Yo, man, listen, Vin, do me a favor.
I get what you're saying, Cliff. I definitely get what you're saying. And like age appropriateness. Like I have young, small nieces, and it's not like, all right, girl, get up here and shake your ass on the camera. Like, no, we're not encouraging that. But when they dance and they do the TikTok things, and we do encourage that, like self-expression, and dance is a big part of African American community. Period. And like gyrating, winding the hips, like it's it's hard to explain it in a way that makes sense to a lot of people, but it's not like the over sexualization that that's American culture, where they see little girls dancing and they're like, oh, she's shaking ass. No, she's dancing and she's having fun. She's listening to the music. Like, why do you even see a child in that way?
No. It's not.
And I noticed you didn't.
It's not seeing the child that way.
You said like a
how
dick print and like shaking your dick around. Why is that Why is that equal? Like, why can't you just say a boy was twerking? Like, okay, if a boy was twerking, you wouldn't have any problem with it.
Yes, I would.
You would. So you would have a problem with a boy twerking. Actually, a senator. You would have.
I'd probably have more of a problem with it.
So Joe Biden was twerking in the middle of the freaking
yes.
You would be like, Joe, I have daughters.
Yes.
I have sons. Joe.
Yes.
No, these sons. They're looking up to you, Joe.
Yes. Bro, a can of mayonnaise, the whitest thing you can imagine, could put butt cheeks on it and be senator and shake, and I'd still have the same problem. I have a problem with the over sexualization of America in general, and whether it's an American culture thing or not, right? It's in our movies, it's in our music, and whenever somebody is in a position of power or influence, I think they should be more careful with what they put out there. And that's my opinion across the board. Black, white, senator, anything. Like even dancers. Like you think my kids are listening to Doja Cat? You think my kids are listening to any Madonna? I
don't mind what you do in your home. I'm just saying, like, as far as a grown woman like that, because you're raising your daughters a certain way, that's totally fine. And again, I'm not going to question that one bit. But she should be able to live her life, even with
of course. And I can have my opinion on it.
Go back to being a private. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying arrest her. I'm not saying kick her out of office. I'm just saying, hey, bitch, can you chill out?
But I don't know if me and Janae are on the same page. But I feel like that's a double standard. I feel like I don't feel like you would. I know you're saying that. But I don't feel in my heart that if like a man or a boy or any of the male gender would like be doing the same things, would you have a problem with it? And
well, then, Vin, you
think
would be dead ass wrong, and you must not see what I turn off on the TV.
You say you're consistent, but the most consistent thing about men are they're inconsistent. So I get you, man. All
maybe
good,
in polarized men. Maybe you know too many polarized people. I'm very, very, very even keeled, and I'm very consistent. You will never see me, bro, say something that doesn't make sense on the opposite side of a situation. I'm just not that guy.
Lawrence Fishburne. So as an adult, this might be on the same length. As an adult, you know that his daughter is estranged because she's in porn, right?
Yes.
And because she was on drugs too. But it was mostly because of porn. He said that straight up. He even said it in interviews. You find that correct too? You find that, like, you know, is that your business then too? And when they're an adult?
If my daughter my daughter's, see, here's the thing though. Maybe because
I'm talking about grown. I'm not talking about how you're raising them now. I'm talking about.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I think maybe because unfortunately when you are somebody who dedicates yourself, right, whether it's to a craft or to office or to anything, like where it's like you spend a lot of time, I think he probably wasn't as present as he could have been at times because he was chasing his movie career. Me, I'm present as fuck and have these conversations with my children all the time. And my kids, just out of pure worrying about disappointing their father, would never do something like that. And if they did, yeah, you're damn right. You think I'd talk to my daughter if she's fucking doing porn? Hell no. I'd be like, bitch, you better cut that shit out before you come to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Of course. Well, that's you. But you don't have kids yet either. You got to see what happens when you have kids.
I hear you, but again, I have so many, especially being 36. Of course, I'm going to be around so many people, especially most of my friends.
Yeah, but you become a different person once you have kids.
I don't think
your
so,
thoughts change.
Again,
for sure.
Why didn't they become different? The people that I mentioned, how come they didn't become different? How come
I guarantee they did. I guarantee if you ask their opinions on things prior to having kids and in some of their opinions after having kids.
I just told you I did. I just told you
you're not in their mind.
And they're grown. Their kids are grown now.
Vin, if you don't think people change after having kids.
I do agree with you. I don't. And I think people change for all types of reasons, like either having more money or like, you know, being in a different neighborhood or a bit like being in a different status of life. I totally agree with you. But like right now you sound like Tales from the Crypt when they were like trying to get like for decency laws and stuff like that.
Nothing changes you more than having children.
Whatever the things men do. Anything a man can do, women should be able to do. And like, just because they bear children, just because like.
Yeah, but where's the example of me saying that?
You said before that, like you said that women, because they bear children.
I literally told you that if it was a man doing the same thing, I would have a problem as well.
You said dick swirling around in a dick print. You didn't say.
Okay, guys.
You didn't say that. You could even go. We have the recording. You could go.
Okay, so you want to do? Okay, Vin, you ready? I'll amend it for you. If a man was doing a handstand, shaking his ass, and he was a congressman, I would still have a problem with it.
Bad example to American.
Yes, because it's a bad example. Yes, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Bad example to the youth looking. My opinion. You know what I mean? And my opinion is staunch on that shit. And I ain't a conservative.
Well, you're part of the group that believes that violence is more acceptable. So like if you saw like a 12-year-old like put even a Nerf gun or something like that, because like even Nerf guns are violence. They lead to like, what does that lead to? Like they're just fake guns and stuff like that. So I'm just not understanding where the hurt comes from. That like what is going to do? Like again, it hurts your pride that like they are more sexual beings. Like what does it happen? Like do they die from having over sex? Do like the pregnancy rates are like at an all-time low? What is your fear?
I it's not fear. You attach fear to things for some reason. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with fear. It has to do with people in positions of influence should hold themselves to a higher standard. And I personally hold women to a higher standard than men. I think women are better than men. And I think that's my opinion. I think women are
so they have to be more purpose than men because they're better.
They should be respected more. Because they're women. And shaking ass is something that I think as a congressman could lead to some people having less respect for the office.
Okay, and a bad example. Now we have different cultures getting into the office finally and in those positions of power. And now you're going to see different cultures and different ways of life. And that's
and any of it that relates to anything that's a sexual body part or a sexual gyration from any culture
But
any
Janae
religion,
just
I'd
said
have a
that comes
problem
from
with.
African culture, and now you're going to have African Americans in there. So now now we all have to have this.
So you think every African American woman's gonna twerk? Because there's other Africans.
No,
in
but
there
like
as well
one of the
that
most
don't twerk.
prominent, Beyonce.
So slow
like,
down
you have
also.
a problem when she does it?
You know what I mean?
You have a problem when Beyonce does it?
No, because it's directly attached to dance. It's directly attached. Her brand is sexual automatically. Whereas
the politician because she's a politician, all her personal brands are gone now.
Her personal brand is twerking.
Why not? Why not? I'm not
brand.
saying that it was, but like, why not? Who cares? Like, it's dancing.
Well, yeah, why not? Who cares, right? And I'm also able to express my opinion on it. And this is my opinion on it.
Why do you keep thinking?
I didn't say get her out of there.
You also said the fear thing. You also said the fear thing. Like, are you happy to be embarrassed? Because you said that before. You were like, no, don't make me look like that. That's embarrassment. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
What do you mean?
Literally, like projecting what you said.
No, you're not. You're forming it into some weird ball of fear and embarrassment. All it has to do with is I think people.
You're not proud of anybody in your family twerking. That's embarrassment. The antithesis of that is embarrassment. What other thing from the thesaurus do you need to be comfortable?
I don't understand what you're saying, bro. I don't even get it.
You're not happy about the particular word. You're not happy about the particular word, but like you are not happy if a woman in your circle that would embarrass you. Does another word make you more comfortable?
Well, first of all, we were talking about children, right? Not women in general.
Well,
when we
technically
said
it's about the senator, but like you want you want Charles Barkley, you want her to be like an example to all youth. Like I didn't think that was part of the job anyway. But go ahead. But she was just governing her constituents. I didn't know that she was trying to be like a role model to everybody.
Then, if you like twerking, Congressman, I say you make a nice sizzle clip of it and go beat off, and I just won't like it. That's it. It's as simple as that. You can make a nice sizzle reel. You can put some music behind it.
I'll call it Cliff's double standards. Gotcha.
Yeah. Where's the wait? No. Where's the double standard?
No, I'm going out with that. I don't.
No, you gotta say where the double standard is.
I don't.
Okay, because there is none. There is none. That's why.
It's all over.
No, there's not, Vin.
Go ahead.
No, there's not, Vin. You
said it. You said women had to be at a different standard.
Vin, I love you, bro. I love you, but you're so liberal-minded that it blinds you. You know what I mean?
One of these.
You're so liberal-minded, it blinds you at times, my good brother.
And you're so much of a father figure, you let it blind you. You let
bro.
Your moral inside your house
fucking yeah.
Everybody's morals.
Hell yeah.
Okay, great.
You're damn right. You're damn fucking right.
You still haven't shown me any ramifications of over-sexualization. Like you haven't shown me
what? There's no ramifications of over-sexualization in society.
You were twerking out of control. Is that what's the worst that could come out of that?
Bro.
STIs are at an all-time low. Birth rates at an all-time low. What is happening? Where are you getting this? Why is there such a problem with
Jesus Christ, bro?
Gotcha. So that's why I said I'll make my own sizzle. It's my sizzle, right? You're not making it, and it'll be called Cliff's Double Standards. Gotcha.
Yeah, and then I'll make a sizzle.
You can make a counter video if you want.
Yeah, and it'll be
called
so
liberal. That women are out of control. They're twerking, and it's gonna become
it'll be called Vin.
It's gonna become a mess. I don't know.
Vin wants the kids twerking.
If women twerk anymore. I don't know what America's gonna come to.
Listen, the bottom line is there's a lot of people that agree with both of us, and there needs to be more of an understanding on your end of that. There's a lot of opinions that people have that you don't agree with at all. You know what I mean?
You too. But
I do. I said that off rip.
When it comes to women, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I think we shouldn't have an opinion at all. So like when you have like a standard for women, I view that as mansplaining.
When you're raising little girls, you have to keep an eye on everything going on in the world.
That's why I ended it that way, because that's your go-to. That's your go-to.
Of course, it's my go-to. Okay, I'm raising little women.
I'm gonna go have a kid just so I can like debate you in a conversation. That makes no sense, Cliff.
If I did that, that would be stupid. But that I'm raising
and stupidity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. You keep
saying
my kids.
Then if you think that when you're raising little girls, you should not be paying attention to little girl issues and women issues, you're crazy.
I'm not gonna relate to that part. So that part is mute. I'm not gonna I've had other people do that and it doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense when you do it. When you have kids, my uncle has said that when I was younger.
Yeah.
My father, great. Good for you guys. When you don't have anything to say, please go to that. That's your
it don't make I said a lot. I said a lot, and it
But you
doesn't
also
make
said
you.
that like 5 times.
It
Like, no
doesn't
matter
make
what,
you
like we said.
because
If we talk about women, I know that you're gonna bring that up. When you have kids, Vince.
Yes, when you're
Okay,
raising
great.
daughters,
and then I'm just gonna ignore you because it's
when you're raising Vin, you have a lot of opinions on female issues as well. Just because
but most of them are let them do what they want.
No. Most of them are the exact prototype talking points that people who want to cater to what the woke want to hear. Whereas mine are very varied. I'm very varied. I'm pro-choice.
That's your opinion of yourself.
No, it's a fact. I'm pro-choice.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm pro-choice.
I'm not gonna bring up. I'm not gonna bring up the black card, whatever. Like whatever. Anyway, if you think if you're solid on what people view you, that's all good to you. Me either. Me myself, I'm not solid on that. I know mad people have different perspectives of me, and that's totally fine. So I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, well, everybody thinks that I'm the best person, or everybody thinks I'm an asshole.
No, fuck the best.
Everybody has. So for you to be like, well, everybody knows that I'm consistent, or everybody knows that I'm moderate,
Vin,
I'm in the middle.
If you ask anybody about me, my brother,
and that can't be
a big Vin. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm very, very nuanced. And I think most people that know you would say you were a little bit woke polarized. I don't think that's like a.
And you have barely known me, so that is a very lazy assertion.
Oh,
that's a very lazy assertion.
I don't know. Maybe we got.
Yeah, you don't know. That's actually more accurate. That's actually more accurate. I didn't call you I was saying that you were calling yourself these. I never even said or even disputed it. I never even said that you weren't those things. But I'm just saying for me, I'm not quick to like label myself. Oh yeah, I'm the most cool-headed person, or I'm the most insane person. I don't say that. You just did. And so like, okay, great. I'm glad that you had that perspective of yourself, that you're so confident in yourself that you know exactly what other people feel about you.
I'm nuanced, bro. I'm very nuanced. I'm very nuanced in my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why that's a bad thing, you know?
I didn't say it's a bad thing. I just don't usually, other than sociopaths, say that they're nuanced. I've never even said that I'm a nuanced person. I never said that.
Only sociopaths say that.
Maybe
nuanced. How ridiculous you saying those words are, brother.
I've said complicated before. I've never said I'm a nuanced person.
Like, all right, guys.
Not an issue.
Let's agree to disagree.
I tried, but like he doesn't. But he likes to make a label on something. But if I called him double standard, it's not double standard.
Because it's not. The only way it would be a double standard.
To you, like you like to say it's everybody's opinion. My opinion, that's a double standard.
The only way it would be a double standard.
The only way. It's not but my opinion doesn't count. It's the only way there's a double standard. There's an absolute.
Because double standard means that like if a man was doing it, I'd be okay with it.
But I thought definitions change all the time. I thought definitions change all the time.
They do. They absolutely do. But nepotism and double standard are two very different things. You know what I mean? Very different things, bro.
All right. There's another episode.
I think Vin's freezing up over there a little bit.
It did freeze, but I didn't hear the last part.
For a quick second. Listen, bro, the bottom line is I'm not harshly judging y'all for having your opinion. You are harshly judging me for having my opinion more than I'm harshly judging you.
Okay, that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
I just think that she can do what she wants, and I can have my opinion, and you guys can have your opinion, and we have the freedom in this fucking fucked up country to do so. Okay. And that's the beauty of it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Okay, because it gets heated, we have to put the disclaimer. Gotcha. Understood.
Oh my God, man.
Dude, because I disagree with your opinion means I don't like that. I don't respect it. I never said that. But to me, in my
opinion, you called me a sociopath, bro. I didn't
call you that. I said people that call themselves nuanced. Anybody that goes, I'm the most down to earth person. I've said that on an episode. If you listen to my episodes, I've said that. Down to earth. I was like, when I heard somebody go, I'm the most down to earth person, I look at them and I go, I heard one time somebody go, I'm the most chill person on earth. And I'm like, yo, that's like a red flag. Speaking of red flag. So I'm being consistent. When I hear people label themselves in like such high regard in those situations, it makes me think. And I'm not saying
how is it high regard? I'm just saying I'm nuanced.
It's not something people normally say. I can't believe I had to say that. I can't believe you. Do you normally hear people go, I'm a nuanced person?
Yeah, but how is it high regard though? I'm trying to understand why it's high regard.
When you were saying that before. You were saying I'm the middle ground, like that. You labeled yourself that. Nobody here did that. Nobody like organically said, "Wow, you're the."
So what does that mean?
We joked about it, but that doesn't mean you are.
So because I'm self-aware to recognize my shitty parts and my decent parts, and I can label myself a bit, that makes me a sociopath to be self-aware? That's weird.
Self-aware. you're hyper aware of yourself. That doesn't mean that you are. Most of what people perceptions is from other people. You're a bad, like, that's why people don't like automatically go to the autobiography. They go to the biography. You could be biased on yourself. So why are we going to listen to you? Why are we going to listen to you like how you are?
So you don't think that my self-awareness has partly came from other people's assessments of me that have made me look at myself and work on myself?
I didn't say you weren't introspective, and I didn't say
that's where it comes
like
from.
You're labeling yourself as more important than anybody's perspective. You
not
you
important.
Go out of your way to be like,
not
I'm the modern
all.
person. I'm the father of the group, so I know better. Like what?
No. I think you're bringing old debates into this debate. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I am saying is that as a father, you will take a little more interest in issues that affect women.
And that's your assumption. And I think that's a lazy assumption. You're not the first person to say that to me. And I don't and there's comedians, there's other people, there's people that don't have kids in their 50s, 60s. What, are they not qualified to talk about like what role models are?
No.
What if someone's barren?
Everyone.
Are they like excluded for the conversation? That doesn't make sense.
No, but
like,
Vin, you just said if you're a man, you can't talk about women issues.
I'm never going to be qualified to ever be in that conversation until I have kids.
Much love,
right,
much love, Billy Badass. Much love. No, Vin, but the point is, like, you discount men's.
You're the last point. I'm done.
Don't you also discount men's opinions on women issues at times? Isn't that very?
Yes, and I admitted that. I said,
all right.
Said that. Nothing you're saying. I didn't say you were. The only thing I was like a little weirded out by. You like to label me, but then you get disrespected if I call you a double standard. You're like, oh, you're an old liberal, and you exclude other people that are not liberal, and you're like, okay, but yet I'm the one. Like coming at you because I said I found it funny the nuance, and I didn't even call you a sociopath. I said normally the people that do like hold themselves in that kind of high regard without anybody else saying it about them. We don't know those people that said that about you. Just a nuanced person. To me, yeah, I'm being honest. I'm not like saying you're a sociopath, but normally the people that I've heard say those type of things.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying.
We can have behind the scenes.
We don't have to include this. I mean, it's on the live, but like, we don't.
It's all good anyway. It don't matter. It don't matter. People. Okay, Nay, I got bad news for you. Unfortunately, people love shit like this. That's the. Remember how people love violence?
And I still love
verbal violence.
I can't believe I had to make that freaking disclaimer. And I don't disrespect any of your I know it sounds like it. I know because like I'm really not. But I do passionately do feel like that's a double standard, and I'm allowed to feel that way, and you're allowed to disagree with the way that I feel, of course. And I'm not in that household. I'm not even from not even while whoever's being raised in that household, not even from there, but even the perspective that you have of looking at that center, I don't have that perspective either. So,
well, shout out to my man Dwayne. And my kids definitely got some goddamn parent controls. You know what I
mean? They do. They have a great parent.
That's my little brother, a Harvard grad, by the way.
Oh, that's your little brother right there?
That's right.
That's what's up.
Right. Hey, Dwayne. Hey. We love college. Well, we love all types of people. We love college people too.
Well, most importantly, Vin, I hope you're able to do what we just did and not feel bad about it, because I know I don't. Because it's just regular.
I told you. I used to get in people's face on the basketball court, and then they used to try to find me with a box cutter or something like. Like, what's up? We were saying stuff on the court. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, for real. And I would blank out. I'd be like, oh, I did say that. It's like, my bad. I left it on the court. That's what I said to them. I was like, yo, I left it on the court, bro. Like, if you didn't, you could stab. I'll find a space for you to stab me.
Yeah. Because to me, it's just even if we have moments where you feel like I'm being a dick or I feel like you're being a dick, I feel like it's important. I feel like tough conversations and moments like this are actually what's important for the country, right? It's not only having friends, right? Like if you're a conservative and you only have conservative friends and that's all you're talking to, there's no growing from that. If you're a liberal and you only have liberal, that's why keeping your friend Josh, even though he's a fucking piece of shit, it's almost a good thing, right? Because you're getting the bounce back, right? And it's almost, and that doing this show, I already knew this was going to be. I knew there was going to be things that we totally agreed on. I knew there was going to be things I would bend on, you would bend on, they would bend on, and there'd be certain things where we'd be like, hey,
apologize to Janae, though. I just want to apologize to Janae. My bad if we took. I'm so sorry. My bad.
Oh no, you're fine.
And when you tried to intervene and stuff, I hope you didn't think we were fighting. Like, my bad. No, it wasn't.
No,
like
I didn't. I was just trying to redirect because
no, we've gotten into this before, and it's fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for me. I know my facial
I was
expression.
like, okay, this is all right. We're just gonna
my bad. Janae. And you can
Vince,
we
send
try to avoid
location. Send location, motherfucker. I'm coming.
See me. Come see me.
I'm coming to Queens right now. Fuck out of here. Nah, listen.
And
it's
you
all
know enough people to find me too. Like, yo, where's Vince? Where's Vince live? Like,
here's the good thing. It was at the end of the show, right? So we got through all the subjects. Thankfully, this time it was the last subject. If this happens in the middle subject ever, we're gonna have Nay. Nay's gonna be like the referee, right? And
that didn't work.
No, it'll work. I promise. If it's in the middle of the show, I'll let it work.
That.
Right? If it's the last subject, maybe I won't let it work as good because I know we're gonna end anyway. So it's like, fuck it. If we get an extra 20 minutes, it's okay. You know what I mean? But if we're like in the middle of the show and we have other subjects left and shit, like we need you to be like, you gotta. You know what I'll do? We might have to put like a video. You know how you can press videos on StreamYard and they just play and stop everyone.
Not only
I'll give you the power to press that shit.
Don't deserve me either. I'm gonna stop being so feminist on these programs. All good. I'm gonna tone myself down. But yes, we can have those mechanisms in place. But it also starts with the host too. So I will try not to get so. And I'm not a woman, and I'm not part of the gay community, but I defend them like I am. So I need to chill.
No, dude. Listen, I think you know what's ironic about both of our stances on it, right? We both feel like we're being feminists in our own weird way. I feel like I'm protecting in some way. And you feel like you're protecting the rights to do anything, right? As a woman. And I feel like I'm protecting, you know, what I deem as maybe negative connotations, which may or may not even be that, right? But it's just my thought process on it. You know, every time I see someone twerk, I'm not like, you fucking piece of you fucking whore. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yo, I think now I have to do a twerk video. You know what I mean? Just to make up for this shit.
Yeah. Who wants to see my body? Future senator.
Yeah. I gotta do a fucking flat ass fucking white obese man twerk video.
Yo, if you can't iron on a booty, it ain't mine.
Right. Oh, do you have black ass? I know you're mixed. Do you have black ass or white ass?
I'm black from the waist down, but from like the west side. Like, from an angle. All
right, as long as you get if you got the front black, you're good. You know what I mean? You're good.
Hey guys, I have to go.
Yeah. You better listen up. No, you better shut up, listen up, and keep up with your homeboy. It's still Vinsane, Janae, Cliff. We'll be more behaved next week. We'll try. Over and out, homies.
All right. Much love, everybody.
Yeah,
Sundays at 11. Tune in.